It's JB here with your weekly energy update. This is an update for the week of the 22nd to the 28th of March 2021. And the chart we've got here is for the full moon on Libra, which is on Sunday the 28th. So we're going to focus on that today. But what you can see is that by now, remember we had all this action in Pisces. Well, it's now moved into Aries now. Both the Sun and Venus here still travelling together, which is fabulous. In the much more action-driven cardinal sign of Aries. Okay, so the energy has moved from this water here in Pisces to this cardinal fire in Aries. Both water and fire as elements are very subjective. But what I love about the energy of this chart is that we have a lot of rational objectivity because we've got all this air energy going on as well, which we're going to dive into. So, we've been talking about the North Node, haven't we? And Mars approaching the North Node. Well, on the 27th March, Mars actually becomes conjunct with the North Node. He will actually meet it. And the reason I love this, guys, is that Mars is the ruler of Aries, okay? So whatever's going on in Aries, and remember Aries about, it could even be fighting, it's fighting for justice. It could be a spiritual fight, it could be just aggression, but it's got that very active, dynamic energy to it, leading ahead. And when its ruler Mars is conjunct the North Node, as I was saying last week, I really like this because it means that where we're directing our energy is towards our common future, which is the North Node. Okay, that's where our souls are meant to be working towards. So I think that's fantastic. When we have a full moon, what happens is the moon right here is opposing the sun. So it's a balance of opposites. Okay, so the sun is like spirit. It's a ascending movement, and the moon is like the soul. So it's a descending movement. So we need both, obviously. But what happens at the full moon is the sun shines a light on the darkness of the moon. So the full moon tends to be a time of release, of letting go. And this full moon is in the sign of Libra. What's Libra about? Well, as I was saying the other week, every sign comes in a pair. They come as polarities, as pairs of opposites. And the Aries-Libra polarity is very much about balancing that real drive to forge your own destiny, to charge ahead on your own, self-initiated, self-instigated. That's Aries. With this energy of compromise, of realizing, you know what, maybe I'm going to have to collaborate to make this happen. Maybe I'm going to need to compromise, and that's the Libra polarity. Obviously, in any given moment, we're going to be, somewhere in between, and there needs to be a balance. But this is really the emphasis of this full moon. It's about relationships. It's about my will versus your will. And I really like it because Libra is a very diplomatic energy. I just feel this is something that we could really do with now. It's a very peace-loving energy. It's very harmonious. And so that's going to be the theme of this full moon. And what I love about this full moon is that, as we said, Mars is the ruler of Aries. The ruler of Libra is Venus right here. So Venus is sitting next to the Sun. So I just feel that there's a really good opportunity to bring opposing sides together. Venus, as I said, as the ruler of Libra, really loves harmony and peace. I feel that, on a personal level, while Uranus has been down here in Taurus, Taurus is values, and actually ruled by Venus as well. I feel that with Uranus and Taurus, collectively, our whole value system has been shaken up. And people have been telling me that a lot of friendships have been going by the wayside, and, people are really coming out with what their values are, what their priorities are, and they found that they can be sometimes in conflict with others. With a full moon, it's a really good time to release, okay? So you might be finding that some of these relationships, you know what, it's not working. So it's time to move on with gratitude. But there's always going to be that harmony here. I feel if you need to leave someone, you can do it on good terms with this Sun-Venus conjunction here. And the really beautiful thing about this full moon in Libra is that, do you remember we were talking about this trine with Mars and Saturn? Well, that's still very much in effect, with Saturn up there in Aquarius. But what I love about this, what's so gorgeous, is that the moon is picking up that. So the moon is making this grand trine in air, which is such a beautiful energy. Okay, when we have a grand trine in our chart, it means it's this natural reservoir of ability in the function of that element. And with these very subjective, personal, passionate energies, the fire and the water, we've been dealing with these elements, I feel, over the past couple of weeks. What we've got here is this amazing opportunity to use that to something that's enduring, right, with this Saturn energy, and that's for our collective well-being. Libra and Aquarius have in common this very this sense of righteousness, this sense of justice. So whatever we're fighting here with this Aries, whatever we're fighting here as a warrior, it's going to have this justice element to it. It's going to have this fairness element to it. It's going to have this theme of equality, the greatest good for the greatest number. And not only that, but there's going to be this longevity here with Saturn in the mix. So I really like this. It feels that with these two energies, which can be very passionate and steamy, we do have that balance. We do have that objectivity, that ability to stand back and look at the broader picture. So it's a pretty fabulous energy. I really, really like it. Another thing I did, guys, was, we've been talking about rulership. So Mars is the ruler of Aries, Venus is the ruler of Libra. I did a little rulership tree, so you can go back and see who's ruled by whom, who's ruled by whom, who's ruled by whom. And sometimes you get that there's one planet kingpin right at the top of the pack. And for this chart, it's actually Neptune in Pisces. The reason I mention that is that, yeah, we have moved on to this Aries energy, and we've got the Libra in the mix now, this air energy here. But the point I'm making is that you can still very much call on this Mercury-Neptune conjunction in Pisces. And do you remember we were talking last week about asking something, just letting the question drop into the unconscious, into the body, into the etheric, and allowing an answer to come. And that's still very much available to you this week, and on this full moon. As you release, as you look at relationships, what's serving you, what's not serving you, you can definitely call on this emotion here. It's great for psychic work, it's great for anything that requires that intuition, that sixth sense. You're still going to be able to draw on that very heavily there, guys. So I'm really liking this energy. Fruition time. We've got our objectives very clear now for this new year ahead. And so now we can, by releasing what doesn't serve us, we're going to start to get a sense of who can be our allies, who can be with us, who can be our friends, okay? Who we can collaborate with. Because a lot of us have been in retreat mode for a year, and so it's a really great time on this full moon to think about, wow, I could be a part of a new tribe, I could be part of a new collective, a new friendship group, okay? These are all Aquarian themes here. And the Libra moon is really going to bring that to your awareness. Okay, so this is a beautiful energy. I'm very happy about this moon. I would like to pull some cards on it as well. So let's go ahead and do that. And yeah, I just really get this sense of a new beginning with this Aries. And it's like the minute we get into that Aries energy, we've got this quite strong full moon to really anchor us and really use our perception, use that air element to decide what's serving us all together. So let's pull some cards. Let's see what we need to learn, what we need to know for this week of the 22nd to the 28th of March 21. And I think there's going to be a particular focus on that gorgeous Libra full moon. Very egalitarian, very just. Okay, let's see what we get. Seven of Swords, Two of Wands, Nine of Cups in reverse. Okay, so I think what we've got here is we're kind of moving away from this Piscean energy. It's kind of hanging on for dear life there, isn't it? But this is a card of wish fulfillment, okay, the Nine of Cups. You often make a wish when this comes up. It's also an energy of emotional fulfillment. And in the reverse, there's often a call to really get clear about what it is you want. Because with manifestation, you need to be really, really dead set on exactly what you want to achieve. Two of Wands is in the heart of this. Yes, we've got this Aries energy. So yeah, we're really talking about, it's funny, for the past couple of weeks we've had the theme of this Mars-Saturn trine. It's really helping us. Two of Wands is a really lovely energy. It's when we're kind of weighing things up. It obviously does correspond to the sign of Aries, which is a very dynamic energy, but it is pretty grounded because we're still finding out a worldview, we're still weighing up options and seeing what's going to suit us best. And Seven Swords is very much an energy of striking out on our own. There's a risk there of kind of cutting corners or not doing your homework, or maybe being a bit cheeky or taking risks when you should be. It's like jumping ahead when you haven't done all the planning, kind of thing. But I do love the Seven of Swords because it's this energy of striking out on your own, which is very much in keeping with that Aquarian vibe. I might pull some cards just to qualify that. But so far, yeah, it's telling us to go with this fiery energy, but just make sure we're clear about what we really want from this before we go ahead, because this full moon is going to give us a chance to release. So just get clear about what your goals are. Who do you want to hang out with? What are the values that surround this mission of yours, okay, in this Aries energy? Let's pull a couple cards to see if we can qualify that a bit. Chariot reverse. Knight of Wands reverse. Five of Wands. So yeah, we've got that fire theme with these two Wands cards. The Chariot in the reverse for me is very much in keeping with what we were talking about here, okay? So the Chariot in the reverse, he wants to go full throttle, right ahead, and he's willing to even barge over people to get what he wants. But when he's reversed, there's kind of like, it's like a horse that's going, but he's lost the map or something. There's a lack of direction. So it's kind of in keeping with this Nine of Cups reversed energy, the Chariot here. That yeah, there is this amazing, exciting, dynamic energy going on. But just make sure that you've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's. Make sure you know where you're going. Make sure it's for your highest good before you jump ahead. Because this Knight of Wands is a really exciting energy. He wants to travel. He wants to have a new venture. But both these cards in the reverse, I feel there's a little bit more rumination to be done, a bit more clarity to be found around your direction before we move forward. I really like the Five of Wands. It's often seen as a card of conflict, but for me it's actually more a very creative energy. I look at these guys and I think it's almost like trying on new clothes, like trying out different characters. And for me the energy here is, you know, that Aries vibe of forging ahead in your own way. It almost seems like we've got the opportunity to, if we're going inwards and remaining a bit still, we'll have the opportunity to try on a few guises, try on a few outlooks, if you see what I mean, before we go forward. So that's a really nice energy to end with. Very creative. I feel the message here is to keep the energy light. It's potentially quite explosive as we come into this Aries energy. So there's a message here to keep it light and joyful. And look at these guys hanging out with each other, enjoying one another's company. So there's definitely something about fellowship, friendship, keeping it joyful, creative. And yeah, getting into that vision. So thank you so much, guys. It's really lovely to have you again. If you would like a personal reading, please check out my website, jbshaw.com, and I look forward to catching you again soon.